Hey y'all. Sorry I'm moving to different areas. I'm trying to figure out what I like to do better and where I like to do it better. Right now the kids are still awake and they are screaming upstairs in the playroom. Um, so that wouldn't be a great time for a vlogging video. Um, I've kind of been in my head all day today. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you shared with them that amount of stuff. And I know I didn't really go into detail, but for me, it's a lot of detail. And, what I've found through the years in the position that I'm in is that it's not always been safe to be open and honest. And therefore, since I go to the extremes with everything, I will end up shutting myself off from everybody. And that isn't safe. That isn't good. That doesn't, build, any other relationships. Now I have the relationships that I have currently with people that are safe. They're very safe for me. They're super supportive people. I can literally tell them anything and I know that it's, that it will be safe with them. And sometimes it wasn't even telling people big things. It was just telling people little things. But the reality is that not everybody has your best interest at heart. And that's okay. For me, and I'm sure for many other people have to learn the hard way. And since that seems to be the theme of my life, I had to learn the hard way. I'm grateful for those blessings, but, naturally as any human, when they're sharing open and honestly, especially on a platform like this, it can be really uncomfortable, but I did this intentionally. Like, this was a choice. This wasn't like, oh, I think everybody's going to think it's great. Everybody's going to be so accepting of it. No, I totally came on this platform knowing that I was either going to piss a lot of people off, make people really feel me and understand me, misunderstand me. But the reality is, like, all of this was intentional. So with that being said, I really kind of want to, just touch base and talk about like some recent things that, have been going on for me in my daily life. As most of you guys know, we own a treatment center. It's an all women's long-term addiction treatment facility. And those women also have mental health issues as well. And we're not always everybody's favorite people. Let's just put it like that. I wish I could get Justin on here with me, but this isn't really his thing. So, I got to be careful what I say because I still am not fully ready to dive into what it's like, but I do want to talk about a little bit of what it's like. And my not diving in, maybe somebody's, oh my God, I'm all in. So, it depends on, I guess, who you are, if you think I'm diving all the way in. When we first opened Canyon, it was like this dream had come true. I had dreamed about this, like I had envisioned this and it had come to life. And, in the beginning, it wasn't, what I wanted it to be. I mean, yes, it was what I wanted it to be, but I wanted it to be better than what it was. And we have grown and evolved and changed through the years, and we have made a lot of mistakes, okay? Like, a lot of mistakes, but like through those mistakes, we have learned what to do and what not to do. And really, like, that's the beauty of life. Life is about making mistakes. Life is not about being perfect. And so I find it funny when perfection is expected. And it's just not that way. I don't care what business you're in. I don't care if you are working for McDonald's, if you're working for the White House. Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. And all like humans are in these positions. So like, we're not perfect. So therefore we're going to make mistakes because we're not perfect, and I get it, I understand, like, we're dealing with people's lives and that's a big deal. But we also deal with a population that struggles, how do I say this? really kind of struggles to take ownership, and I totally relate to that. We have, some people through the years that have been able to take ownership and have been able to be responsible for their choices, but ultimately Justin and I get blamed for a lot of stuff. And this is not to like, I need to like keep saying this, but this isn't to like feel sorry for us. That's not what this is about. I just think it's important because I don't think I really hear from a lot of different treatment center owners of what it's like. But like, there's two ordinary people, me and Justin, that are the owners. We have 2 children. We have family that loves us. He's got a brother. I'm an only child. We have family. We have loved ones. We've been on our own recovery path. And I think that we get created into these people that are these like evil, awful, gold digging, money hungry people. I mean, it's all over the internet. So like, we know that people say it about us, or that we don't care about people, or that they have all these nice things, so they must not care about people. And it's like, first of all, really? Like, come on now. And people that really know me know my heart. So like, it's helpful when these things come out and are said about us. I'm able to talk to them and they're like, okay, because I obviously take it personally because I'm a human. I don't know if people think I'm on the other end of the computer like, oh yeah, I'm so perfect. Nothing anybody says affects me. It's like, I'm human. That hurts, but maybe the intention is for it to hurt. But like, just because I'm a treatment center owner doesn't give anybody permission to treat me poorly. Doesn't give anybody permission to do that. But somehow along the way, people give themselves permission to treat the owners poorly or the staff poorly. Like, this goes far beyond us as the owners. This goes to staff. This goes to treatment providers in general. It seems to be like a common theme in the industry that we're in, that let's automatically go at the treatment center owners, the providers. And listen, there's some shady, shady characters out there. Make no mistake about it. There are some very shady characters out there. And there's a reason to have concern, but like, the common denominator is the disease of alcoholism and addiction and mental health, and this mentality that it's always somebody else's fault and somebody has to be blamed, when it's like, isn't that how we got in recovery in the first place? Is because we're constantly blaming somebody else, and of course we think this is an easy concept. It is not. And I know that it is not, because I'm flawed in many areas too. There's things that I want to blame on people. But I just, for a long time, have felt the need that like, I needed to use my voice. I have people that are like, well, why don't you respond to negative things? And it's like, first off, some things I'm just not going to respond to because it's not worth engaging in. Like, I just don't have time, first of all. And second of all, it's like, am I going to put that energy into somebody who's speaking negatively, who I've probably most likely already put a lot of hours into, or staff has, or whatever the case? Am I really going to put that amount of energy into that to just put fuel on the fire? No, I'm not going to, when I could be hanging out with my kids, when I could be hanging out with my husband, when I could be putting my son to bed, I could be putting my daughter to bed, I could be telling a staff member, hey, you did a great job, or God forbid, helping the ones that are there right now. That's just like a general thing. And I know a lot of other treatment providers who struggle with the same thing, because we go into working into the treatment environment with open hearts, you guys. Like, we can try to shut ourselves off, but like, if I could only explain it in a way that people could understand, and I'm not saying people don't understand, but like, when you have somebody who is broken, who is crying and hopeless, and you're able to look at them and literally see yourself, it's like, you get to like nurture this person and let them know that like, they are beautiful, they are perfect, they can do this, and that it is okay. And everything that they've done it's okay. It's okay. And it might have been their past, but it doesn't have to be their future. And, so it's really easy to say, okay, have your boundaries. And granted, we've gained a lot of boundaries through the years. We don't give as much time as we used to, because the reality is that for many years we were given way more time than we actually needed to, first off, because it was sacrificing time with our own family more so than we needed, but it also was sacrificing our own mental stability. In the industry that we're in, it's not 9 to 5, so we're talking early calls. We're talking calls in the middle of the night. We're talking calls, so-and-so has to go here. So-and-so drama happened here. Here's the parent who's here. There's this, there's that, or God forbid that the call comes that so-and-so has overdosed and she's dead. Let's not forget those calls, or he's dead. Like, we're working with humans who have a fatal disease if they do not get on the right track. If they do not make different choices, they will eventually die. Maybe if they're lucky, and this isn't even lucky. I say this and, my recovery people will understand this. Maybe if they're lucky, they'll live a miserable life using and drinking, but that's not even lucky. I just mean that versus death, but like if they're, we live in a world where everything is constantly being scrutinized, everything. We're talking everything. I have had every single part of myself, my family, how I live, what I choose to do, completely questioned, and it turned on the people who are helping them. And that's okay. I signed up for that. I totally signed up for that. But I also feel that it's challenging to speak on issues like this because there's a lot of people out there that have done this. I've done this. I've blamed a lot on other people. There's a lot of people out there in the treatment industry that don't want to talk about this because they want to save face and they don't want to talk about the ugly side of it. And I was talking to friends when I wanted to start this, and I'm like, I want to talk about the stuff that nobody else is willing to talk about. I want to talk about these issues because the reality is they're affecting us. We're all talking about it. Why are we not able to communicate it? Because we're afraid of judgment. There's other treatment providers that are going to so judge me for posting this, and I'm okay with that. I don't need them. I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing this for the people that are dedicating their lives, who feel like they have given it everything and sacrificed everything to still get judgment. And, like the moral of this is that like we have got to slow down the judgment. And this includes me too, is that you don't know what somebody else is going through. You don't know, because I still have to answer the phone. I have to answer the phone if something's going on in my life. Maybe somebody's died in my family and I've got to talk to a parent who's mad at me because their daughter didn't get her family call that weekend. And I have to, and that's a choice that I've made, and that's okay. That's okay. Or Susie Q doesn't like the bed that she sleeps in. Like, and granted, there's way bigger issues than that. Or, I get the calls from the families who literally we have spent more time and energy than we ever should have being told it's not enough. And I had a friend, and I posted this in a different post. I had a friend who posted this whatever it was, talking about, somebody who said, oh, I want to work in the addiction treatment industry. And it listed off all the different things. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so spot on, because it was. And everything that was said in there was so spot on. It was the sacrifices that come in working in this field. And it's like, and a lot of those sacrifices are totally worth it. But I think taking a step back, sometimes it would be nice to be considered as a human rather than looked at as this, money making robot that is making choices that are better for a company, risking someone's life in the process. See, most business owners will be like, okay, of course you need to make a decision that's in the best interest of the treatment center, but we deal with humans. And there's facilities out there that do have to make business decisions where they're like, oh, we're not getting paid right now, so sorry, we're not getting paid. We happen to operate different, which is why I think we get kicked in the butt a lot, is because we are very flexible. We do help more than we actually get paid. But like, people don't want to talk about that. Most of the negative reviews we have are from people that we helped, are from people that we might have minimized their cost, but that's still not enough. So like, that's the real truth. But like, the reality of it is people aren't sharing that when they're talking about their negative stuff. They're talking about the negative stuff because that's all they see. That's all they see. And that's okay. That's where they're at, but like, Justin and I didn't just start this to be a business. We didn't just start this to be this money generator, like, this is like people's lives. I have been to 22 treatment centers. I have seen everything there is about treatment, and I wanted to be different. I did that intentionally as well. I didn't open an all women's long-term high accountability and high structure facility because I wanted people to like me. Like, that's not the thing to do. And, I frequently hear, oh, well, yeah, you're such a money person because they're there so long. It's like, actually, the longer somebody's in treatment, the less the treatment facility makes. Newsflash, just for anybody who wants to know that. There it is. And we opened it because we knew the magic that existed in high structure, high accountability, gender specific treatment, and I don't know why I feel the need to explain ourselves, but like, I don't feel like I've ever really responded to negative things. I mean, I may have responded in other ways in my life that maybe weren't the best, but like, I don't think I've made like a general response to what it's like to be on the other end of that. What it's like to be on the other end of a negative review is just crappy, because it's normally when I'm in the car taking the kids to school, or normally when I wake up in the morning and it's the first ding on my phone, the first thing I wake up to, or it's a staff member that's calling and is like, hey, have you seen this? Or that it stirs up so much drama and insanity and it prevents other people from coming to the facility because they see somebody else's issue. It's just not it. And guess what? 90% of the time, I haven't even heard from the person to want a solution. They just put it on the internet. And this totally falls into like what we're talking about with social media and using it as a platform that is dangerous. Anybody can put anything on the internet, just like I can do this right now. You don't have to agree with me. This is my experience. This is my opinion. For me, some of it is fact. A lot of it might be opinion though, and I'm okay with that. But like, why are we being so mean? Like, I don't understand. And listen, everybody's got different personalities. I have a very large personality. I can be totally unapproachable. I have a lot of flaws, but the reality is like, weren't we taught like communication 101 to like talk it out? And I know we all come from different family systems where some stuff isn't okay to be talked about. And so we shove it under the rug. I'm really good at like shoving things under the rug because it's easier. And then it just festers inside and comes out in a bunch of sideways ways. So really that's not productive. But like, I don't know, like the more that I think about this and more that I talk about this and the more that I'm communicating with other people out there, like, we got to be nicer to each other. We have got to be nicer, we got to be nicer. Like, We're supposed to be in this together. You know, we're all supposed to be in this together. And this doesn't discount people's feelings, people's thoughts, whether they felt wronged, whether they felt hurt. That doesn't discount any of that. I'm merely saying, do we not all share a common bond where we can talk and give the other person an opportunity to communicate and to speak their feelings? And here's the deal. You don't have to agree with somebody to respect somebody. But I feel like, you know, in the society we're in, if you don't agree with somebody, that means you can't respect them. You can't like them. Let's cut them off. It's like, what world are we living in? Like, that's not healthy communication. And I know that not everybody knows what healthy communication is. And I'm not saying I'm the queen of healthy communication, because I am far from it. But it's like, what if we all chose to do something different and to communicate different? What if we chose to, instead of like blasting something on the internet that you don't know, you have no idea where that person's going to be, when they're going to see that, and what response is going to happen. You have no idea. And you think you want to hurt them, but the reality is that you don't. I know that when I'm angry, I have to, if I'm messaging something or texting something or emailing something, and I know that I am frustrated and I am hot and I'm getting angry, normally the suggestion I get is, Erin, you need to sit on that. And most of the time I'll follow that. And if I don't and I create harm, then I make right my wrong. At least I try to make right my wrong. So like, I just really feel that like, even anybody who's watching this, anybody who's listening to this, is like, if we make a point to do it differently and to communicate differently and to realize that like, it doesn't matter what profession you're in, you are dealing with people who have families, you are dealing with people who are human, you are dealing with people who feel the same way you feel, whether you admit it or not. You are dealing with people who have lives. It doesn't matter whether you're paying them or not. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, everybody deserves to have a human card. Everybody does. And if we don't allow each other to have a human card, then we're not going to have a human experience. And we're going to continue to go through life thinking that the human experience doesn't matter. And we're a bunch of people who are just walking through life, just trying to make it from day to day. But it's like, what if we could be better than that? What if we could give each other that human experience and say, you know what? Like, even though I'm mad, like, they're human. They're human, because you have no idea what somebody's thinking on the other end. You have no idea. I don't know. You know, so like, if you're struggling with this, like, I'm always down to talk. I'm always down to be there for you. And, you know, like, just be nice to each other. Like, we gotta start being nice to each other. And that means being patient with each other and being forgiving of each other. And I need to do that as well. But it's like, is that resentment really worth holding on to? Is that grudge really worth it? Is giving them the silent treatment really worth it? And I mean, and I have to like internalize a lot of what I'm saying right now, you know, but like, this is what I'm trying to do different. Is it all worth it? Is it worth it? So I hope everybody has a great night, and I hope that for some of you guys, this was able to resonate. Have a good night.